Whenever I get out on big water, I like to play it safe. And of course, I'm gonna wear my personal flotation device because I'm fishing alone today. Obviously, it's a good idea. If you fall in this cold water, hypothermia is gonna set in quick, but this is inflatable sterns here, so very, very important. The other thing is make sure the boat's in good running condition. The batteries are charged. I fueled it up before I came out. The oil's topped up and I'm ready to go. All right.
Coming up on this week's episode, Bob drifts the bar on the Niagara River. Late season Lakers are stacked feeding on baitfish, and Bob bounces a swim bait into the buffet for a bounty of action. And later, touring the quality and craftsmanship that make the Ranger boat name legendary.
Wow. Here we go. That is a fish of a lifetime right there. Wow, that thing is a monster. They fight hard, don't they?
Look at that magnificent fish.
Look at the size of that fish.
There he is again.
The color is incredible. Oh, there we go.
The Real Fishing Show with Bob Izumi.
Big old Great Lakes smallmouth. That is a big rainbow trout, Chris. Nice double header. Whoa!
Nice jump.
Yeah. All right. That is a monster smallmouth. Man, that is so cool. Another one, there we go. The biggest pike I've ever caught. Look at that chunk. So that's what we're talking about.
Real Fishing is sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water, and Tim Hortons.
On the Real Fishing Show, we make catching fish like this a possibility. Oh boy. Well, first drift, I'm here in the mouth of the Niagara Bar and on Lake Ontario, and it is December, and it took not very long to hook up here. There's lots of lake trout on the bar here, and you got a good cross chop. Oh, there it is. Nice little laker right there. Oh boy. Lowered down a swim bait here, and these things fight hard, and you can see the boat rocking and rolling. And okay, there we go. I'll just grab this net. Net right here. There we go. Okay. There. Oh. All right. There are so many of these Lakers in here, and look at that. All right. Look right in the corner of the mouth, and that's just a sampling of some of the fish in here off the mouth of Niagara Bar. We put this baby back in. All right, look at that. That's what they're feeding on too, and that's why there's so many fish, is they're feeding on these shad that are out here, and there's so much bait out here, and that's why there's seagulls and everything else going crazy. So I'm gonna go back up and make another drift. Now, because of the massive amounts of water and just volume of water coming out of the Niagara River, it pushes you out. Even though we've got an east wind here, you got this cross chop happening, so you got this rough water here. Even though quarter mile that way and a half a mile that way, it's very flat, calm. So you got this chop where the current is meeting the waves, and so it creates this almost washboard effect out here. But one of the keys is out here fishing the Niagara Bar is because you can't hold with an electric motor and the current coming out. You want to go up into the bowl and then drift as it comes up and onto the rock flat, or the bar as it's called. And a lot of those fish are sitting right on that break where it breaks into deep water or as it comes up onto the bar. Very key spot for fishing. So let's go up here and get situated and make a drift. There we go. As soon as it gets down on that lip and you start coming up, It seems like bang, that's when they seem to hit. Oh, that one come off. That one come off. I'll check the swim bait. It's a little twisted, so we'll fix it and we'll get it back down there.
Building a Ranger boat and a Laker giant when we return. Stay tuned.
A monster right there.
Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Toro. Count on it. Compared to other anglers, steelheaders are an eccentric lot. Most find something that works and stick to it stubbornly. There's no question they do well, though usually upon arrival. And yet, as the day goes on, there always seems to be that one guy out there continuously turning fish others can't. Must be a secret weapon. Actually, it's likely a whole bag of tricks that seal the deal. The problem with steelhead is they quickly become suspicious of the same thing, even when not hooked themselves. They possess a keen sense of knowing when something's wrong. Here's the solution. When using fish eggs or roe, tie it up in a multitude of colors. Start with a bold statement, like hot pink, to draw any aggressive fish. When the action slows down, switch to bright orange. Then progressively drop back to more somber colors and increasingly smaller baits. The same thing applies to imitations. When this fails to produce, as it will, try something radically different. Worms, real or otherwise, take steelhead. Plugs, spinners, flies, and jigs all have their place. After running the full gamut, start from the beginning and run through it again. Fact is, the fishing vest of a well-prepared steelheader will easily outweigh the heaviest fish in the river.
I've had the opportunity to tour the Ranger boat plant in Flippin, Arkansas quite a few times. What has always blown me away is how many steps there are in making this quality boat. It's a combination of the skilled employees and technology that have made the Ranger boat name legendary. Even though I've had a chance to fish all over the world, the majority of my fishing days are spent on the Great Lakes. You definitely want a well-built boat when you're on the big water, as we get hit with all kinds of rough water conditions. The attention to detail in gel, resin, and fiberglass, as well as the ultra-tough protrusion used in strengthening, makes it an incredibly well-built boat. The wiring harnesses, seats, tarps, and trailers are all made at the plant as well. You can get electronics, power poles, and many other items factory installed on the assembly line too. Before each boat goes out, it is thoroughly inspected and even water tested in a tank. Ranger's reputation as being the leader in bass boats is certainly justified once you see them from the inside out and when you've spent as much time in them as I have. Now let's get back to the bar for some more Laker action. Oh man, these things just hammer it, and even though the water's in the 40s, it's amazing how hard they hit. And just as I was coming up on the break, I'm just sort of bouncing that swim bait, and you can feel it bounce, 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 and then all of a sudden, boom, they hit it. And what I'm doing today is I'm using braided line, and I just think in this deeper water, the braided line gives you a little bit better hooks. Look at the size of this fish. That's a good one. That's a good one right there. Look at that baby. That's a nice one. Oh yeah. Whoa, baby. That is a big old Lake Ontario Laker right there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is a good one. Now, one thing is that as you're coming up the break, it's important to keep a tight line so that swim bait and jig, you're feeling everything down there. And I'm using 30-pound test. Trilene professional grade braid. I've got a fluorocarbon leader on, although in this milky water, I'm not so sure you really need the fluorocarbon leader as much, but when it gets clear, you do. And fairly heavy jig head here. Got a 1/2 ounce jig head. Okay, get this big old dinosaur in over here. This thing is huge. Oh man. Oh, Oh man, that is a big laker right there. Oh, I don't want to break the net. Oh, whoa. Wow, look at this thing. That is a monster right there. Oh, look at this thing. Wow. Whew. There's a hook right here. There's a fly in the fin. So I'm just gonna grab my CUDA pliers here, and I'll get my jig out, which is right here. Okay, and I'm gonna take this hook. There's a fly right here that is in it. Look at that. Got myself a fly as well in the fin. But look at the size of that thing right there. We're talking big dinosaur. Wow. That is a good one right there. Whew. Let's get a photo of this baby right here. Hey folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back fishing the Niagara Bar in December. Whew. Wow. Niagara Bar Laker right there.
When we return, more Lakers on the bar action. Stay tuned. This tip of the week is sponsored by Coleman, the outdoor company.
I'm here with Andrew Wheeler from Abu Garcia. And Andrew, you know, let's talk about reel retrieves. A lot of consumers out there and fishermen get confused with all the different retrieves. And we've got a lineup of Revo reels here, and there's a lot of different retrieves, aren't there?
There are. We've got everything from the Revo Rocket, which is obviously our super high speed retrieve, which is at 9-to-1, 37 inches per turn, all the way down to our Revo winch, which is really our heavy duty cranking style reel.
Okay, so what would the winch be? That is
That's a 5:4-to-1 gear ratio. You're pulling in around 26-ish inches per turn on that guy.
Okay, and then going up to the Rocket, it's one revolution of the reel handle is 37 inches of line?
37 inches of line.
Okay, and then you've got reels in between, you know, with the Premier and the MGXs that have, you know, different retrieves in between those two. So let's talk a little bit about application then. When would you need speed?
A lot of guys really want speed for a couple of different options. Flipping and pitching. They want to hit a target fast and be able to move on. You want to cover as much water as you can. Also, throwing buzz baits or anything like that where you need that fast retrieve and you want to really get that reaction bite out of a fish.
You know, and that's what I find is when I want to be efficient, I'll use a fast retrieve, but there are other techniques like crankbaiting where you want a slightly or a slower retrieve because you want that bait to grind down there and you don't want to over reel it where you just want that thing down there working, right?
Yep. So your lower gear ratios, anything that's deep diving style of bait, a winch is perfect for it. It allows you to really control your retrieve speed, but also helps you not get worn out all day because, you know, those big baits are pretty hard to retrieve sometimes.
So if you want something like in between, worm fishing, spinnerbait fishing, top waters, that's when you're going to go to what would retrieves be in the middle of the pack here?
Yeah, you're looking at a 6.4 or a 7.1 style retrieve, and it really depends. A lot of people have different preferences depending on the style of bait, but these are kind of now the retrieves that you would call sort of your general purpose style gear ratios.
Well, I'll tell you, you do a great job with all of the designs that you come out with Abu Garcia, especially these Revos. I love these reels. They're the easiest casting reel I've ever used in all the years I've been doing this for a living, and good job, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. This thing is huge. Oh, man. Oh, man. That is a big laker right there. Whoa. Wow. Look at this thing. That is a monster right there. Wow. Wow. Okay. Man, that is a big lake trout right there. That thing is well over 20 pounds. Look at that thing. Uh-oh, it's ready to go already. Here we go. See you, buddy. Whew. Whew. I'm telling you, the cool thing about this type of fishing is, you know, there are a lot of people that fish out here, but through the week it's a little quieter. And here it is, a couple days before Christmas, there's only like 5 or 6 boats out. What's everybody doing? Christmas shopping? Okay, and the Lorentz just dipped down here, and that's really the deep basin of the Niagara River coming out right here. And so what I want to do is just get on this edge, and I'm just coming up a little bit. You see it coming up on the other side, so I'm just going to go over here where it dips down again, and that's where we're going to start drifting. It's like clockwork. Those fish are sitting on this edge, this lip, as you come up, and you see all the bait down there, and it is just high percentage. Okay, this is it right here. There we go. There we go. So funny. I was just lowering it down, and I didn't even get down to the bottom, and this guy thumped it. And amazing, there must be so many fish stacked up there like cordwood down there that it actually is falling, the jig is falling down, and you get a fish just pound it like this. Now, I'm gonna put a little more meat on this fish just to see. You never know how big they are till you get them kind of up near the surface. Oh, there he is. Oh, it's just, that's like a medium size Niagara Bar Laker right there. That's sort of like, oh, I need just a longer arm. Okay, come on over here, baby. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's just your sort of medium size, like about a 10-pounder or so. And there's so many fish like this there. He looks like he's been caught before. You can see his jaw's got just a funny little hook in it here. But nice size Laker. Whoa, buddy. All right. Yeah, I got to straighten up the swim bait a little bit. And back in action. Time for another drift. And
the bar is a buffet, drift after drift. When we return, stay tuned.
crazy. Now, because I'm here in the month of December, in fact, 2 days before Christmas, in fact, this is a lot better than going Christmas shopping as well. I mean, the only crowds out here are the half a dozen boats or so, but one of the things is that you got to pay attention to your Navionics chart, because there's the line, the US-Canada line, and the season's closed on the New York side, but it's open here on the Ontario side for Lakers. So it's important to make sure you stay on the Canadian side while you're making this drift at the Niagara Bar. One of the things to consider when you're fishing an area like the Niagara Bar is the water color. If it's murky, say a foot of visibility or so, and pretty cloudy, you want to go with a flashier presentation. Now, there's some 3/4 ounce spoons that I really like. You've got the Splinter by Johnson. Also, you've got the Shutter spoon. These produce a lot of flash. Another option is the Sebile Vibrato. This is a vibrating, almost jigging type spoon that's pretty unique. They really do catch a lot of lake trout. Now, when I was out on the bar, I was using a 4-inch power bait, and it's a ripple shad, and I had it rigged on a 1/2 ounce jig head, just a plain round jig head. And what I was doing is I was gliding it just off of the bottom, so as I drifted up onto the shallow portion of the bar, those Lakers were slamming this subtle presentation. The water was fairly clear, so this presentation was working great. Wow, it's just so amazing. You know, I missed one, I dropped back, and bang, he come right back for it. And not a big one, but just another fun fish. Okay. One thing about Lakers, they twist and shout, boy. They twist all over. This guy is twisting in the net. And, oh, he He kicked that bait out. Look at that. All right, look at that thing. See you, bud. Oh, there's another bait. They're spitting up so much bait. There's a little emerald shiner there. Earlier I had some shad. There is so much food. We're talking about a buffet down there for those guys. There we go. Well, I'm telling you, it's like clockwork as you come up, and dark clouds are rolling in. I've been out here for about an hour now, and you know, it's just been pretty non-stop action. It's crazy how many lake trout are here. And oh, get in here, buddy. And there's just so many fish in this range. It's crazy. But you know, I'm seeing those dark clouds. We had a storm. Looks like some dark clouds went around us. This fish here has definitely got some juice left in it. But one thing is, got to play it safe. So what we're going to do is wrap up and head back to the boat ramp. Folks, I'll tell you, this has just been one awesome hour of fishing out here on the Niagara Bar. December 23rd. What can I say? So far, not looking like a white Christmas, at least in this part of the country anyways. See you next week. Yeah, all right. This is a big fish. That is a fish of a lifetime. Well, that is just amazing. Look at that thing. Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, man. That was too cool. Oh, man, what a fish. Look at that.